The assassin from Jersey City. What's the whole story behind the dick spot? Why was the guy grabbing your cock in the first place? If anyone doesn't know, and I don't know anyone that would be viewing this that doesn't know, there was a spot in Japan. Please tell us from the beginning.
Well, like you said, it was in Japan. The gentleman I was wrestling is Dan Chukwudino, who plays a homoerotic character. So, you know, he does a lot of things that maybe in the United States wouldn't be considered as politically correct these days, but Japan's a whole different ballgame. So he uses his antics to freak out his opponent or catch them off guard by like rubbing them or grabbing their junk first and and then move.
This was Jim Cornette, you said? Yeah. What's his name? This wrestler?
Dan Chukwudino.
I'm sorry.
He's great. He's super well known in Japan. He also does like the pile driver. I'm sure people have seen clips where he puts their head in his trunks first and then gives them the pile driver. He's the originator of that. So in this promotion, DDT Pro, we were kind of building to our match because we both play sexual characters. We had done press conferences and everything. So, you know, obviously he wrestles mostly in Japan. And so when we were coming up with ideas to play off our characters, he says to me, and because, you know, like I said, he does a lot of like grab the crotch and then like the guy and then suplexes them or whatever, like dragon screw legs whips while the guy was grabbing the guy's crotch or something, just, you know, the initial shock. And then he said to me in his broken English, he says, maybe I grab, but maybe you no-sell because American cock is so big and so strong. And I was like, well, yeah.
Thank you for the trailer moment, by the way, but go ahead.
So he said, American cock's so big, so strong. And then I said, okay, well then, you know, because we're just standing there now with you grabbing me. And he said, and I said, well, maybe I'll hook up, maybe fire up. And he said, okay. And then I take bump. And that was kind of it. That was kind of the whole process of it.
Yeah.
And then literally right before we went out the curtain, he suggested me doing the hip swing and then he would take a flip bump. And that was kind of...
Is there any part of you when you plan this that think you're going to get great viral footage? I'm honestly,
yeah.
You talk about how, you know, socially aware you are, social media conscious you are. Are you saying to yourself, are you putting pieces in place to make sure it's captured the right way on video?
I mean, it's being broadcast live on the internet pay-per-view, I think, or maybe even Samurai TV. I don't even know. Like, the translation's lost in me where it's airing, but I know it's airing live, which is how I got a copy of it. Is I got like someone sent me like a feed that like they recorded. It was on some not YouTube, not Daily, or some really random video site. But I'm normally pretty self-critical about my stuff. I watch it, and like even when they're goofy comedy spots, I'm like, oh, I could have done this better. This could have looked better. But watching that one back, I was like, it made me laugh out loud. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna cut that clip out. It was 27 seconds, and I'm just gonna throw that on my Twitter, and then like just because it made me laugh, I'm gonna make my friends laugh and my fans laugh, and then it just got the right amount of retweets from the right people, and it just kept going, and then it was trending on Facebook, and it was popping up on ESPN and The Soup and crazy things like that. Yeah. It was international TV and all that.
A question from the ice. Actually, a question from me. What's the highest profile person that responded to that tweet?
I guess that's subjective.
For you, who'd you mark out for?
Houston Street, who's a pitcher, or the closing pitcher on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, which is my favorite team. He actually, well, a different player, a player that he knew from the Rockies, Ryan Spilborg, tweeted it and then tweeted at me, and then I replied to him, and then we started following each other. Then he sent me a DM saying that Houston Street's the one who sent it to him. So I followed Houston Street. He followed me back, and we started talking on DM. And it was just like the closing pitcher on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim is talking about my dick spot. So that was my mark out moment.
The Iceman. Were you shocked at the reaction your cockplex received and how it spread to news and entertainment outlets other than wrestling ones? When did you realize it was becoming mainstream and wasn't just viral within the wrestling world? And what's the most unexpected place you saw yourself mentioned?
When it occurred to me, because like the most I heard from it was that all my friends or fans or anybody who had any connection to wrestling would tell me that all of their relatives and friends that had nothing to do with wrestling were sending them that clip or tagging them in that clip on Facebook. So it was all these outside wrestling people that were annoying their wrestling friends with it. Like, have you seen this clip? And they're like, yeah, I know that guy. You know, like I would go to shows and it'd be like everybody that was on the show would say like, everybody I know has tagged me in that clip or sent that clip to me saying, have you seen this? So I knew it was getting big because of all the outside of wrestling attention it was getting, and that's when I kind of realized it was truly viral. Let's see. The most
unexpected place where you saw yourself mentioned?
It was on television show in England on BBC called Have I Got News for You, which is a primetime news show, and they showed the clip. They have like celebrities talk about the news of the week, and like that one was the clip that came up, and they talked about it. It was like, in England, and and so it was kind of cool that it reached that kind of level.
Joe O'Neill. Since you've become famous for your strong cock, have you ever gotten knowing glances at the supermarket from bored housewives or grandmothers? Grandmothers, by the way.
I mean, it's not a bad thing to be known for, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly a running gag now with everybody that I meet and talk to, or recognize me from the video. It's like, oh, so is it? Yeah. I'm like, well, can't break that kayfabe,
All right.
I only protect kayfabe when it helps me out. So
this was 1983. The push you would have gotten in the WWF,
right,
for being known for having a huge and powerful American cock. They mentioned grandmothers there. You have an elderly aunt or a grandmother in your family that has weighed in on this?
I mean, my family, whether it be my mom or my relatives, they all roll their eyes at it because they're like, ugh, but they know the character I do, and they kind of get it, and they figured that something like this would happen. But they think it's funny. I mean,
okay, good.
They laugh at it, but.
Twitter, Ocho and Ortiz asks, Joey, you've recently become well-known and a viral video sensation for flipping guys over using the sheer strength of your dick. Have you thought of taking this to the next level of absurdity and awesomeness by turning it into a combo move? Basically, really sell the strength of your dick after using it to flip an opponent over. As they start to get back up, you use your pelvic thrust, which is so powerful it knocks them out for a referee 10 count.
Like, kind of like shooting a fireball, like
rocket,
a Hadouken?
Yeah.
With, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I've not thought about using some sort of thrust where the air, but I have, I've used it to where, like, someone will give me, whether intentional or unintentional, will hit me in the crotch, and it'll, instead of pain, I'll fire up I'll start my comeback. If I'm a baby face, that will start my comeback. The crotch shot will fire up and House of Fire.
Well, you were a big Hogan fan as a kid.
I was a big Hogan fan, yeah.
From that.
So, I mean, I love the 80s, the cheesy 80s. Like I always say, I'm the Marty Jannetty if I'm a babyface, because I'm just like, like I'm so cheesy as a babyface. Nothing against Marty, but
I've worked with Marty. You're nothing like Marty.
Just in the sense that I had cheesy babyface fire, but
coherent.
Yeah, I will. I've used it where I've got hit and I no sell it, or or have an opponent try to give me a low blow and they sell their arm, things like that. So I have used it in other spots, not just the flip.
So this is great. There's so many places to go with this, really.
Yeah.
When you look at it, it's like when you have maybe when the first OxyClean was invented, and or like the first pair of Uggs, and then you're like, well, we could do Uggs slippers, we could do Uggs summer shoes, and it's like, how many cock moves?
Well, it's great because now I don't even necessarily have to suggest or pitch doing the move. It's guys that I wrestle that like, oh, I knew I was going to wrestle you, and I thought of stuff we can do, or I thought of ways we can get into the penis flip, or whatever. Like guys are coming up to me pitching ideas that I don't even have to
They're thinking about your dick even before they get to the arena.
Yeah, I actually did wrestle in England and did one where it was a 6-way match, and I flipped 5 guys with it at once, and it was actually Rockstar Spud's idea. He came up with it. So he's like, we did like a little chain reaction where like everybody was grabbing each other, and then I was at the end of it, and I did the thing, and they all flipped.
Right.
And it was Rockstar Spud's idea.
God, the pressure. I don't even know what I would come up with. You know what I would come up with? I would wait for a bunkhouse stampede or a weapons match, and everyone would come in with like a fucking pipe, a wrench, or that, and you could just come in the ring and stand there, and everyone would be really confused for a second, but then they go, he has his weapon.
Yeah.
All right, video from the Mandrake.
Hi, I'm the Mandrake. I have a question for you, Joey Ryan. I hear that you're actually a very hard... Hold on a second. Important things need to be done. So I'm sorry. I hear that you're a very hard man. I saw a video of you. You formed a large chain of gentlemen, and you used your strength to flip them all dick by dick by dick by dick. And I'm just curious, have you ever had a wrestler refuse to touch your penis?
I get the sense that the Mandrake would not refuse.
Well, not if you use the way he's screwing on the.
It was very phallic, the whole thing, the throwing it down. Go ahead.
Not anyone that's, but I mean, it's never been like, I don't suggest it like unless I have an idea that the person's gonna, like, I just did a 6-man tag the other day with and like it was, and Billy Gunn was on the opposite team, and I had a good feeling that Billy Gunn wasn't going to want to do it, but but I did it in the match with one of his tag team partners, and he was. And Billy Gunn's a cool guy. He was obviously cool with it happening in the match. I just wasn't going to ask Billy Gunn to do it. So I'm pretty smart about having an idea of who'd be willing to, or who. I would never want anyone to do anything that would make them uncomfortable either. Like, same thing when I wrestle, when I do intergender matches and I wrestle girls. Like, I can be really sleazy and be really, aggressive, so to speak, sexually in a match like that. But I make sure ahead of time that like what's off limits. I don't want to put anybody in a position where they're uncomfortable. So. Yeah. I would never ask somebody who I didn't have the feeling would want to do that move, do that move.
Understood.